advantage of tremendous discounts from the manufacturer. Call the siding company now and you'll receive a $25 Walmart gift card with your estimate. 241-7977. Call now.
The most local news, right here, right now. News Watch 10.
Good afternoon. This is your noontime edition of News Watch 10, now heard on K6 AM at 12:30 on your AM dial, your all-news radio station. I'm Edna Cortinas. Weather with meteorologist Phil Sokolov has a quick update for us right now.
Well, Edna, it looks like for the first day of August, the heat is definitely around us. No change in sight. It's already 93 degrees outside. We're expecting a high today about 96 degrees. But the thing is, the heat index value, it feels like 110 degrees outside almost. So slow down this afternoon.
All right. Almost 2 hours to coax a man threatening to jump off the Harbor Bridge down. It was just after 6:30 yesterday evening when 37-year-old Fernando Padilla climbed the Harbor Bridge and then sat on steps that were located underneath the structure. The Marina Patrol and Sheriff's Department's boats were patrolling the water to assist other law enforcement and saw Padilla. When they questioned him, Padilla told officers he wanted to jump because of personal problems. And a firefighter were able to talk Padilla down. He was transported to Memorial Medical Center for psychiatric treatment. If you hear an unusual alarm sound this afternoon, don't panic. Citgo Refinery is upgrading their alarm warning system, and to make sure everything goes according to plan in a real emergency, they will be conducting tests on sirens located at Buck Stadium, the Ship Channel, and Buddy Lawrence and I-37 from 2 to 5 o'clock today. Citgo officials want to ensure the public there is no need to worry. This is only a test. On the crime beat, a celebration turns to tragedy late Tuesday night in a central Corpus Christi neighborhood, leaving a 24-year-old father of 7 dead and another man behind bars. Michelle Mock spoke with the victim's family and has this report.
Just 13 days ago, little Benjamin Pablo Hernandez III was born. Now he will have to grow up without a father.
The victim apparently had been taken to surgery. Sometime early this morning, he passed away at the hospital.
It all started in the 1600 block of 16th Street during his grandmother's 89th birthday party late Tuesday night, when Ben Hernandez reportedly got into an altercation with his sister's boyfriend, Luis Gonzalez. It was then that the celebration came to an end.
He just came and shot him right there, right in front of me. Right in front of me. I was standing right next to my son like that. He fell right there.
Just feet away from where Ben was shot is this makeshift memorial started by his sister and some neighbors. And while the grieving process is just beginning for family members, the investigation into this murder continues.
The suspect was arrested somewhere around 3:30 this morning at a local motel, and he's currently in the county jail on a $100,000 bond.
But before this bond, the victim's mother, Maria, says she filed for a peace bond against Gonzalez weeks ago. And had he followed the terms of his bond, a life may have been saved. Michelle Mogg, Newswatch 10.
And another local news, a fire on the south side damages not one but 2 homes. Firefighters responded to a blaze in the 3700 block of La Paz yesterday evening. According to fire crews and eyewitnesses, the blaze started in the kitchen at one duplex, but then spread to the duplex next door. One eyewitness noticed the fireman immediately began helping put the fire out.
I knocked on the back door, the windows, and there was no answer. So I came all the way around. Since I couldn't do much on that side, I came around to it's a duplex, so I came to the other half of the house, to the front door, and I knocked, nobody answered. So I went to the back of the duplex, and I peeked inside the windows. There was nobody there, so I couldn't do much there after that.
5 engine companies responded to the fire and had it under control within minutes. The cause of the fire is still under investigation, and no injuries were reported. 5 Americans were among those killed by a remote control bomb yesterday at a Jerusalem university. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Colin Powell signs a pact with foreign ministers. These stories and more when we return.
Attention.
It was a remote control bomb that killed 7 people at a Jerusalem university. 5 Americans were among the dead, including Marla Bennett, a California student, and Janice Ruth Collier, a school administrator from New York. Richard Roth reports from Jerusalem.
Israeli officials say security has been tightened today through much of the country. One response to the Hebrew University bombing that was the deadliest attack here in more than a month. America's ambassador to Israel came to the university today with a floral tribute and a message.
It is not enough that Palestinians and other Arabs have condemned this act of terrorism. It is absolutely imperative that they work actively to stop terrorism immediately.
The bomb, planted in a bag and apparently detonated by a cell phone, killed 7 people in all and wounded more than 80. And especially among foreign students here, it shattered some assumptions too.
And I always looked at the university as a sanctuary. And I guess, you know, it was my mistake.
Many of those on campus now came just for summer school here. The attacks raised new worries for some, though not simply about personal safety.
I don't have fear, except that the situation won't improve.
Signs are it won't.
Oh my God.
Israel demolished another Palestinian home on the West Bank today. Punishment aimed at the family of a man Israel said was an Islamic militant. The likelihood is there's more to come, an expected Israeli retaliation for the university bombing. Richard Roth, CBS News, Jerusalem.
The Association of Southeast Asian Nations has signed a joint anti-terror declaration with the United States. Brunei's Prince Mohammed Bokhaya was one of 10 foreign ministers to sign the pact with U.S. Secretary of State Colin Powell.
If we're going to defeat the terrorists, then we have to attack them from the highest moral plane, and that human rights must be protected.
The agreement spells out 6 areas of cooperation between ASEAN members and the U.S., but stops short of inviting military cooperation. Powell says the U.S. does not see the declaration as a bias for adding to the 100,000 U.S. troops already in the Asian Pacific region. Don't go away because it's Doggy Day here at Channel 10. Denny Bales from the Gulf Coast Humane Society is up next with a cuddly canine you can make a member of your family.
This Gulf Coast Humane Society moment is being brought to you by Suzanne's Custom Jewelers.
It's Adopt a Pet Thursday, and Denny Bales from the Gulf Coast Humane Society is here once again, and he's brought Fritz. Is that right?
Hi, and yeah, we've got Mr. Fritz here today. He's a little terrier mix. Been in our Humane Society for over 1 year, if you can believe that.
Okay,
he's
and
a blue ribbon dog.
Right, that's exactly what I was going to ask. Since he's been in the Gulf Coast Humane Society for a year, that makes him a blue ribbon dog. And tell us once again what comes along with being a blue ribbon dog.
The neat thing about a blue ribbon dog is that, first of all, the adoption fee is waived.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, he's absolutely as healthy he can be. He's had all of his shots. He's heartworm free. He's on heartworm medication right now, as all of our dogs are. Mm-hmm. And he comes complete with city tags. And if you adopt a blue ribbon dog from Suzanne's, as our way of thanking you for selecting one of these dogs that have been contained so long at the Humane Society, we give you a $100 gift certificate to Suzanne. So it's not really a bribe, but it's really a way of making you focus on these sweet, lovable creatures. And how a dog like this has ever been overlooked, I can't believe it. He's so beautiful. Drove over here in the car right next to me, just like a little gentleman. He's so pretty. He just needs a lot of TLC from a loving family.
Okay, now they can go anytime today to Gulf Coast Humane Society?
Yeah, Fritz will be in our, what we call our dog house. It's an inside facility. And everybody at the front desk will know where Fritz is. And in fact, the little dog that we had here last week, unfortunately didn't get adopted, so you can take a peek at him too. We have approximately 38 dogs in our Blue Ribbon program.
Okay, now he's just one of the dogs that hasn't gotten a...
He's just one of many.
Right.
In fact, we have over 200 dogs awaiting adoption at our facility, not to mention 100 to 150 cats and kitties.
All right, now I want to switch gears to a more serious subject. And locally in our headlines, there's been talk of animal cruelty.
Right.
And just touch on that. What if you're a neighbor or someone in general who sees another person or an act of animal cruelty? What kind of advice do you have for them, and what should they do?
Well, first of all, we have state laws that prohibit animal cruelty. And if you're a neighbor, there was an incident on Tuesday in the police blotter on the 7400 block of Lake Superior in the Lakes subdivision, where people there had 2 dogs tied to a volleyball post, and of course there was no water, no food, no shade, and apparently they were not there. and the one dog wrapped itself around the post and unwrapped and wrapped and ended up dying in the process. The other dog, which was a puppy, got severe cuts. Now this basically is something that is punishable, and it could either come down as a misdemeanor or a felony, but we're hoping beyond hope that this does go to the DA and does get punished. But if you're a neighbor and you see obvious animal abuse like this, pick up the phone and call the police department. I mean, we have state laws to prohibit this, and there's no sense in putting up with it any more than you would a small child being abused.
And you don't have to give your name or your identity.
You can call animal control or you can call the PD and let them know what's going on, and they will definitely check it out.
All right, sounds great. Now, once again, just to keep being a responsible pet owner, and you want to prevent a situation like that from occurring, always remember to have the water out. Is that right?
Always have water out. And in this horrible heat, keep in mind, if I told you to go out and I was going to tie you to a pole, but I want you to put this fur coat on first. You know, what did Phil say that the heat factor today was going to be like 110? I mean, my goodness gracious, that's just not fair. That's absolutely cruelty in its worst way. So, but if somebody's interested in Fritz, and we hope they are, it's 3118 Cabinets Parkway, the Humane Society. Our phone number there is 225-0845. And I'll have Fritz back there in probably about 45 minutes so they can come out and see this beautiful, beautiful dog that needs a loving home.
All right, thanks a lot.
Okay.
And thank you, Fritz, for being here, too. And we'll have more news after this. California authorities are searching for 2 teenage girls who were kidnapped at gunpoint in Quartz Hill, California early Thursday before being taken away in a vehicle that belonged to one of the victims' friends.
The search is on for 2 teenage girls, 16-year-old Tamara Brooks and 17-year-old Jacqueline Maris, kidnapped at gunpoint last night as their male friends watched helplessly. The 2 were taken from a remote desert area near Lancaster as they were parked in their cars with their male friends. Witnesses say the gunman, aged 30 to 40, forced Tamara out of her car, then went to Jacqueline. He tied her male friend up with duct tape, then drove away with the 2 teens.
He told me he was going to kill me, but he didn't want to. He actually just wanted to tie me up. He just wanted the truck. He just kept telling her to stay down and keep her head down, don't look at him.
The teenage witness said the man smelled like beer and appeared to be Latino, but he wasn't sure. The 2 girls did not know each other. The remote area is apparently a popular place for teens to hang out.
In Baton Rouge, Louisiana, relatives and friends of 3 women murdered by the same man are sharing information and hoping to find a link that will lead police to the serial killer. Meanwhile, Louisiana's capital city remains on edge. Police say the murderer slashed one woman's throat, strangled another, and stabbed a third. The family of the last victim is offering a $75,000 reward in exchange for information leading to the conviction of the killer. In other news, the Californian Julian fire continues to blaze out of control. Authorities say when a National Guard helicopter sliced through a power line near Julian, it may have sparked a wildfire there. So far, more than 18,000 acres have been charred. 5 homes and nearly a dozen vehicles have been destroyed. The blaze is reportedly 10% contained. Firefighters say right now it's hard to tell when they'll be able to get an upper hand in the situation. Have big plans for the weekend but don't know what the weather will be like? Don't worry, meteorologist Phil Sokoloff is next to tell us.
Want to know the weather? Call the KZTV Weather Watch at 883-5651.
Sponsored by the law offices of Thomas J. Henry. Trust your doctor to treat you. Don't trust your doctor or hospital to tell you that a medical mistake has occurred.
Attention shoppers! Now through Monday, Morgan Building Spas and Pools is having their annual inventory reduction blowout. The prices on all Morgan product have been slashed to the bone. Make the deal of the year on a great selection of Morgan buildings. Even more savings on scratch and dents. Hurry, only through Monday, every Morgan spa in stock will be on sale. Pool season's here, so jump into big savings with Morgan Pool. Rounds and ovals will fit every budget and need. Don't miss this annual inventory reduction blowout going on now at Morgan Building Spas and Pools. Hurry to the Morgan location nearest you.
Deadlines are approaching. Call now.
Typical midsummer-like conditions here in South Texas. That means dry, toasty, and a little bit windy. Welcome to August, everyone. It is the first day, and of course, when we think about August, September, and October, then we're getting into the peak of the hurricane season. I'll be talking about that in just a few seconds. But look at these temperatures already into the low to mid-90s. And like I said at the beginning of the newscast, I think the most vital information that can give anybody today is the high heat index value. We're already between 105 to 110 degrees. So you really don't want to excess yourself outside in the afternoon hours. In about 3, 4 o'clock, take a lot of breaks, drink plenty of H2O. 91 degrees in Beeville now. Kingsville at 92. Morning low in Corpus Christi at 73. We do have partly cloudy skies outside, 93. The humidity at 59%. Winds out of the southeast at 14. The atmospheric pressure stands at 29.98. Basically 90s across the entire region today. Triple-digit levels across southwest Texas. Frere, Hebbronville, Laredo today, about 100 degrees. Satellite map shows all is pretty quiet. Nothing really to talk about in the western part of the Gulf of Mexico. There is something, maybe something developing down the Bay of Campeche. We're going to be talking about that tonight at 6 o'clock. If we check out the afternoon satellite map, the other big feature is this little low-pressure system spinning across the southeast. The only reason I'm bringing this up is it's going to drift into the Gulf of Mexico and then eventually move to the west, and that may increase our rain activity here by late Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Check out the national forecast map for this afternoon. Again, dry conditions will be the dominant weather story. This is a fairly strong cold front, unusual for this time of year, that is plowing through the midsection of the country. That's going to produce some rough conditions today around Detroit and Chicago. But for us, again, another hot day. There's that low I was talking about. And look what happens by the weekend. It's going to be moving into the Gulf of Mexico. Winds will be out of the south this weekend, so that means it's going to be hot and humid once again. If you're dreaming about cooler temperatures, we're going to have to wait for the next probably 30 to 45 days. Highs today, 90s will cover the entire state. The real big cool down will be across the Pacific Northwest. For example, Great Falls, Montana this morning dropped to 48 degrees. We're looking at 90 degrees from Dallas to San Antonio, down to the south around Zapata, McAllen, Brownsville at 91. Windy, a little bit windy along the coastline. You'll see a peak wind gust probably up to 20 miles an hour this afternoon, but still a sensational day to head towards Rockport and Port Aransas. And a close-up look again of the satellite map shows nothing to talk about, so we're not too concerned about the rain department here today. Again, the closest rain activity is probably close to New Orleans. Let's check out the coastal bend forecast for this afternoon. We'll see partly sunny skies. It's definitely going to be on the hot side. The expected high today, about 95 degrees. Now, tonight's forecast is going to be nice and very mild again, but tomorrow morning, with a little bit more moisture coming in from the Gulf of Mexico, we may see just a little bit more patchy dense fog, the low dropping to 75 degrees. High tide will take place after midnight. The water temperature is still quite balmy at 86 degrees. Seas are running 3 to 6 feet. And now to the 5-day forecast indicates it's going to be hot, it's going to be humid. We'll see temperatures into the mid-90s right through this upcoming weekend, with low temperatures dropping into the mid to upper 70s. And then we may see just a little rainfall coming here Monday and Tuesday. I want to quickly mention that I've been talking about the Tuesday weather quiz. Well, if you got a question, anybody out there, because Channel 10 wants to be a community involvement. So if you got a question, you could call me at 883-7070. That is the TV number, 883-7070. Call in and give me a question, and if I do select this, then what do you get?
A Shoe Carnival gift certificate, good for $20 towards your next purchase.
Exactly. Thank you. So again, call in, and if I use the question, you will get a gift certificate from Shoe Carnival, and we'd like to thank them too.
That's great. It's a first for New York City and maybe a first for the nation, a beach reserved for four-legged swimmers. Jeannie Mose reports.
It may not be a tropical paradise. It doesn't even have waves. But who needs waves when you can create your own at the Dog Beach, where the only stroke you see is the genuine doggy paddle. No human swimmers allowed. Owners must stay on shore. And what's Hugo think, do you think?
Oh, he loves... Well, look at him. He's just laying down, chewing on somebody else's ball. It's heaven. It doesn't get much better.
Think of it as a public beach for dogs. In the heart of Brooklyn's Prospect Park, a dog-friendly park administrator dreamed up the idea after dogs kept ruining the embankment by jumping into the pond. A sloping concrete surface was laid, no sand, and the doggy swim area was fenced off.
That's to keep the dogs from the ducks over there.
And now the Dog Beach has its regulars. Snowflake, for instance, comes every day because her owner says water is good therapy for joint problems caused by a car accident. And this guy is known as
the lifeguard.
Even though he never actually swims, Oscar here could have used a lifeguard.
He almost drowned first time.
Oscar, come back! That's one of the problems, getting the dogs to leave.
Finally, I had to go in up to here and drag her by her tail.
It's made their summer bearable. It really has.
Sassy and Brule came to Brooklyn from Manhattan just to sample the beach.
She flails. This one is like a muskrat.
She rolls the ball off the rock so that then she can go get it herself.
If another dog doesn't get it first, just as humans have their beach balls, beach dogs are nuts about balls. Well, you really got to watch your balls here.
Oh, yeah. It's not even her ball.
The beach seems to invigorate some dogs, while others, like Dizzy here, prefer to just plop themselves down.
This is the perfect ending for a beautiful day.
Ever since the Dog Beach opened a few weeks ago, there's been a whole lot of shaking going on. Jeannie Mose, CNN, New York.
That's funny that story took place because
we just had the dog on
We
today.
just had the dog today. Weather-wise, it's going to be hot and blazing again. Slow down. Check on your pets this afternoon. Right. And also, we are in the peak of the hurricane season. We're getting close. So that means it's time to promote our Channel 10 hurricane maps. Right. It's in English and Spanish. You can pick these up here at Channel 10, 301 Artesian Street. You go to AEP CP&L. They have the maps too. Or Ashley Furniture here in Corpus Christi, or Kingsville. Again, it's both in English and Spanish. You really don't want to miss out. So.
Okay. Now, for the weather quiz, you want to make sure they leave their name and number, right?
Yeah, Diana, our receptionist, will take the questions. She'll take the answers, leave your name and your phone number.
All right, sounds great. That'll do it for today's noontime edition of News Watch 10. Be sure to join us tomorrow during the early show. Up next, The Bold and the Beautiful.